In 1938, America was facing the Great Depression. City streets were filled with shame and despair. People needed inspiration, hope. That same year, National Comics, now known as DC Comics, took a chance on a creation by two teenagers from Cleveland, Ohio, writer Jerry Siegel and artist Joe Shuster. Siegel and Shuster created an alien from the advanced planet Krypton, who, as an infant, rocketed to Earth. He would tackle the social problems of that time using powers and abilities far greater than those of mortal men. This hero would become the world's first and greatest superhero, Superman. Action Comics #1 flew off newsstand shelves. Superman was an instant hit and launched a brand new genre of entertainment. From a desperate era rose a no-nonsense man of action. Never before had there been a character whose sole focus was to set a moral criterion, and he delivered. Superman successfully transcended into nearly every medium, and he became one of the most recognized fictional characters in the world. Superman is the only fictional character whose fame has earned him an annual 4-day celebration. The Superman celebration takes place in the first week of June in the only city in America which bears the same name as the fictional city Superman protects, the city of Metropolis in Illinois.
The Superman celebration is our biggest tourism event.
Everybody here is actually here to celebrate one thing, and that's Superman, and that's cool.
The whole Superman celebration is put on by volunteer labor.
I think it gets a little bit better every year. There's always a little bit more to do.
I grew up in the Superman era, you know, and most fond memory I have of the Superman things was the comic books. I can remember we had a local drugstore here in the city of Metropolis that was just a pop and mom drugstore. It actually had a soda fountain. I would always take some of my allowance and always buy 4 or 5 comic books.
Spent a little time in the Air Force actually, doing explosive ordnance disposal, which is bomb defusing. I just decided, you know what, I want to write. I want my profession to be in the superhero entertainment industry.
My name's Lance Dene, photojournalist with the local paper in Kentucky, Newport Sun. This is one of the more fun events to cover. It's just, there's so many characters and people that you get to meet. You get a lot of good food, and homemade ice cream is my favorite.
My name is Brian K. Morris. K stands for Kevin. I have attended the Superman celebration. Doing the math, this will be the 9th year. This year I'm covering it for Comic-Con.com.
My name is David Gibb, and I've been a career private investigator. Also a freelance writer. I do writing for newspapers, magazines, up in Canada and down the States. I've been coming for 7 years. It's become an annual pilgrimage for my family and I. If I can write articles and promote it, get more people down here, get more people interested in talking about it, that's ideal.
I've been here so many years, you know, 6, 7 years. I want people to see it through my eyes.
I want to capture the small town feel of this whole event.
They do have a very active Chamber of Commerce here in the city of Metropolis.
Located on the southern tip of Illinois, the city of Metropolis has a population of only 6,500. However, during the Superman celebration, the population grows to an estimated 30,000.
It started out as a one-block celebration with some sidewalk sales, a few food vendors, and maybe a band, and our local Baptist minister getting into the Superman suit.
It was definitely local. I mean, we got no outside attention, probably had a budget of $500 to put it on, and probably consisted of 2 bake sales and a tug-of-war contest and a local band.
I have probably attended every Superman celebration that has been held.
I've probably missed a few, but I would say out of the 29 years, I've probably been here, I would say every bit of 23.
The Super Museum holds the largest collection of Superman memorabilia in the world.
I probably know more about Superman in every medium than anybody else on the planet.
It took Jim Hambrick 2 years and 5 semis to move his Superman collection from Hollywood to Metropolis.
People come to Metropolis, they expect a museum. They expect to see Superman. I've been collecting since I was 5 years old. The first thing I got was a lunchbox. I used to charge kids at school admission to get into my room. When I was 8 years old, I decided one day I'm going to put a museum together.
Tim Gardner, a promoter from Texas. He is starting the first comic book show in Metropolis ever.
I've been coming to Metropolis, Illinois since 1993. I've been helping with the celebrities for the last 10 years. This being the first year that I didn't because I had the comic book convention. We also have the NASCAR show that I own. I also own the Metropolis, Illinois Comic, Sci-Fi, and Toy Convention now. The Marihost Theater, I own that show this weekend as well. I've been collecting Superman for 30 years, so I've got a huge, huge Superman collection. I could fill a museum just like Jim with what I have.
My name's Steve Stanley. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. A few years ago, I was invited up to be one of the guest artists. Surprisingly, had a great time in a very small town. Made a lot of good friends. To me, that was the reason for me wanting to come back every year. I noticed that the t-shirts look like, maybe this was a job for Steve. Maybe I could help out with some of that stuff. Built a website for the chamber. On message boards, I mean, you basically extend that friendship. It goes beyond what we do here. You get to hear, their comments and whatnot, and that's good. I mean, the city needs to know what people are thinking.
We hit on an idea that we would do a search for Superman, and it was going to be a local search. Somehow the AP picked up the story, and it ran worldwide. We had 3 lines, and they would be all 3 ringing at one time, and I was just...
There was over 1,000 submissions.
Send us a photo, send us something, your age. And we said we got big boots to fill. I think we had a size 12 or 13 boot.
Put a package together of everything that I had to do with Superman. Consisted of a book of morals that I wrote and a fan film that I made, which I had played Superman.
Think those guys are going to show up together?
Not a chance. Could you come back? We're not ready to hold those orders.
Power Meeting is the story of 4 superheroes who meet up during tough economic times.
It's just pathetic what's coming to this group. Hey, you got $5.
Just shoot me out for giving those guys.
Hey, I carried your ass for years.
Telemarketing's not as exciting as reporting.
I just need to start working.
This means action.
We got Maltman in the studio, Kevin. No. You're talking about some freaking concert.
Not Maltman being the creator of Maltman.
Creator of Maltman, of course, and many other fantastic superheroes. We've had him on the phone many times over the years. We're proud to welcome for the first time ever in the K-Rock studios, ladies and gentlemen, from HeroicWorld.com, Scott Cranford.
Early on, I felt a responsibility to inspire children using superheroes. My heroes growing up were the guys who played the superheroes in the movies, TV shows. I did some bodybuilding in order to get the heroic physique. I began working on some superhero movies and worked as a stand-in and double for some of the top action stars. At the same time, I was creating a universe of socially conscious superheroes. The most important thing to me is to motivate children to always do the right thing. Exercise is like sleep or eating. You have to do it. And if you're playing Superman, you have to do it a lot harder. There's no shortcuts.
A last-minute cancellation, Erica Durant's, Smallville's Lois-Lane, who was scheduled as one of the headliner guests, cannot attend due to a health issue. The show will go on without her.
How do you want the chairs set?
Another snag, John Lowry, a local DJ who has played Lex-Luthor during the opening ceremonies, cannot be reached.
I don't know.
I annihilate, and his mouth moves.
Kevin Williams is recruited.
Look at it?
Don't want to look at it.
Where do you think it?
5 o'clock tonight? Yeah. So we're talking 1, 2, 3, 6 lines.
So we're going to exchange links.
What do you think?
Yeah, that sounds cool.
You sure?
Shave my whole head off.
Well, I'm going to try and find a skinhead wig. If not, you'll just go, let me see what your head, could you take off your hat for a second? Yeah, you know, I could work with that. I'm going to go over to the chamber now and I'm going to tell them, Lowry's out. So you want to be in?
I'm in.
Done. Well, now I'm going to see if I can wrangle those two. That's how they the lights. David and Ben. Jared. Oh, there we go. You're Jimmy-Olsen. Yay! The modern Jimmy-Olsen. Let me get Hugh Troyer has played every supervillain for probably the last few years. Hugh is great. Hugh is always the main villain. He's been the main villain for years.
He's just evil.
After I graduated from nursing school, I wanted to have a hobby. Came down to either collecting robots or Superman, and Superman won out.
He's a minister, but for some reason, he's always playing the supervillains.
This is my 13th year now that I've been coming. I'm usually in a costume and somebody does my voice, so I don't have to worry about messing up my lines.
Brainiac!
I will solve your oil crisis by shrinking the entire city.
I wanted to focus on a issue that was important to me, which was global warming, and I think it's a serious issue.
This year I would like to address a crisis that needs dire attention. The world's reliance on oil is destroying this planet. You gotta say, may I announce Lex-Luthor really loud. Just step up, may I announce Lex-Luthor. Oh yeah. Lex-Luthor bought Exxon last year and changed the name to Lexon. Last year, Lexon's profits were over $10 billion. Meanwhile, men and women are fighting, dying to keep men like him in business. So Jimmy, you're going to be on the down here because you're like a reporter. You two Lois. So you're on the side of the stage. You guys are there to the story.
Lex-Luthor, you are diluting the facts, Superman.
If we don't stop our reliance on oil, this planet will suffer the same fate as mine.
Let me introduce you to my new partner in the discovery of this new product.
Brainiac!
What's wrong with Superman?
Scream it.
What's wrong with Superman?
Awesome.
There must be kryptonite in that sample.
Something wrong, Superman? Thank you, Lex-Luthor. Now join the others. This time, no one can stop me.
Not in my town.
That looked real from this side.
Jamie Regal, Cleveland, Ohio. I'm a full-time Superman collector on a Superman store.
My name is James Nichols. I work at AT&T. I run DCMegasite.com.
I Googled and Googled until I found out about it. I never knew this place even existed.
My collection, world known for being the largest collection.
As a kid, he was one of the 3 guys that, you know, every Superman collector wanted to have that collection.
I've got to admire somebody like Jamie who sits out here with the weather and all this cool Superman stuff.
Me and Jim have a working relationship. You know, we both, you know, are big collectors. You know, we both sell it too.
3 years ago, there was a little whisk of tornado that came in here and lifted the stuff up and blew it all down the street, and I really felt bad about all that.
He was part of the reason I got into it. When I would see his displays set up.
You end up having an appreciation, you know, for somebody that's involved in it because, you know, you have something in common with him. There's a bond.
He's got stuff I need, I got stuff he needs, and, you know, we both do our thing, we get along, and it works out.
My name is Becky Lambert. I am real estate broker here in Metropolis. I looked for a place to get involved and kind of fell in with the broker that I worked for at the time to the Chamber of Commerce. I served on some committees. That's all, a couple meetings, and I took. Before I knew it, I was the chairman of the celebration. So I put heart and soul into that celebration for probably 10 years. So they cut the funding for the chamber, and I was out of a job. And that's where Carla Ogle also had come in to be the director of the event.
My name is Carla Ogle, and born and raised in Metropolis. My birth certificate even says Metropolis resident. I'm a florist, creations of florist, and have been involved with the celebration for probably about 8 years, and I have been the chairman or co-chair for probably about 5 of those. It's always been good, but it always gets better.
It's kind of hard to see when somebody wants to do it different when you've done it. You know, I was involved in it for probably 10 years and had it kind of down to a science and where it seemed to be working, and she kind of wanted to go a different direction. And not that her direction is bad, but it was different than I did it.
But the early ones were good, but they were just local. Last 5 years especially have just really grown. I live here, and it just amazes me that these people come from all over, you know, into our little Metropolis for the celebration.
We're here with the Omega Force Power Team. They're God's strong men, and we present the message of the gospel by using feats of strength. We're handing out food to families in the area. We've got enough food here today to feed probably somewhere around about 25,000 families.
Okay, I gotta get over there. Oh, hi.
I want to welcome everybody here. This is a great year. A little windy, but this is great. You know what? I think we need Jerry Martin up here. Jerry! Come on here and join us. Of course, he was a mole man and Superman and the mole man. All right. Jerry's in next to Superman. Let's cut. 2, 3. Enjoy the vendors, enjoy the music, enjoy our 4 days of celebration.
There's nothing greater than being able to spread Superman's positive message.
Hey Tyler, come on over here, buddy.
Superman has also helped me spread my message.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, Superman!
Superman, are you using the Superman celebration for a political stand?
Absolutely not, son. It's a moral stance.
I will solve your oil crisis by shrinking the entire city.
Not in my town.
A 4-mile foot race takes place during the Superman celebration. An average of 200 people participate with contestants from all over the country. This real-life metropolis is not a futuristic city with immense skyscrapers and ultra-modern roadways. It is closer to the fictional city of Smallville, where Superman's alter ego Clark Kent grew up. However, what this great city may lack in size, it makes up for in ambition. Meanwhile, across town, the celebrities are arriving.
Question.
My question's for Miss Snell. I was wondering, how does the acting that you did recently on the movie compare to your part in the series years ago?
I'm a big Lois-Lane fan.
I'm kind of a nosy, snoopy kind of person. Like a reporter. I should have been a reporter.
You don't know how many reporters that work for big news, I'm talking about big newspapers in big cities that say, you know, it was Superman, Clark Kent that got me into journalism.
A lot of writers really are the accumulation of what they've read. And in that regard, he's inspired me professionally.
People are always striving for something to look up to, something honorable or someone honorable who stands for truth and value.
Especially as a journalist, that's part of being a journalist, is being honest and telling people what's going on.
Helen Slater is making her first ever public appearance in which she will be discussing her role as Supergirl 24 years ago. Once considered beneath a star to do conventions and public appearances, meeting fans today, however, is a must for top stars to promote themselves. Slater will go on to play Clark Kent's Kryptonian mother, Laura, on Smallville.
I loved you in your movie.
Noelle Neal was the first woman to play Lois-Lane on the big screen in the Kirk Allen serials. She reprised her role for the television series The Adventures of Superman.
Do you mind if I take a picture? Because I'm real short.
Celebrities who have visited Metropolis have included Phyllis Coates, Kirk Allen, Jack Larson, Bob Holliday, Margot Kidder, Mark McClure, Jack O'Halloran, Sarah Douglas, Julie Newmar, Adam West, John Schneider, and Michael Rosenbaum.
Unlike conventions, autographs are free at the Superman celebration.
One picture apiece, people.
One year, Lou Ferrigno tried to charge $20 per signature. When fans weren't going for it, he got pretty mad.
I was talking to some of the comic writers last night about the myth of Supergirl and why maybe it didn't work.
Overseas, it was actually a much bigger myth. On DVD, it's got a real huge cult following.
Hopefully they'll remake it though, and they will come up with a really strong storyline. And all of a sudden, there were these fire engines just zooming by. Like there was this big, we didn't know what it was, but it was loud, and maybe 3 fire engines just soaring through. And Chris turned to me and he said, "Here we are, Superman, Supergirl, and we can't do a darn thing."
Supergirl has changed somewhat. I think I saw one of the Supergirls around here earlier. So now, would you want to wear that costume?
Oh, God, no.
Superman Returns question. Noel Neal played this character in the movie. Yes.
She was the rich old lady that Lex-Luthor was married to in the beginning.
Her name?
Don't know it.
Minus 300. Yes. Gertrude. What is Gertrude? Who is Gertrude Vanderwerth was the correct answer, but we'll let Gertrude go. Back to the audience. Superman comics. In the first modern appearance of Bizarro, he sacrificed himself to cure Lois-Lane of this.
Being blind?
Blindness, that's correct. Kids question, what town does Superman mostly protect? The little boy right there. Metropolis is correct. Now back to the contestants. Wish I Could Fly Like Superman is performed by this rock group. What is the Kinks? What is the Kinks are correct.
In 2004, Hugh Troyer won the George Award. Inspired by Jim's favorite Superman, George-Reeves, the George Award has become the most coveted award at the celebration.
When I'm at home, I'm the Superman fanatic. When I'm here, I'm just one of the guys that...
This is from Noel. This is autographed by the author and by Noel. Right there.
Sergeant Leach, I know who it is.
me, Superman was kind of like the ultimate dad. He was big, he was powerful, he was heroic.
I can't stand to fly. I'm not that naive.
I've got a little girl on the way. The coolest thing about comic books and the superheroes is what they really stand for. Others before yourself type thing. Those are the type of things you want to instill in your kids.
Superhero number 1, come on up. Show me your flying pose. He flew right off the stage.
My first memory of Superman would probably take me back to when I was 2 or 3 years old and used to wear one of those hokey box costumes. I think ever since childhood I've been inspired by many superheroes. I think that's important to have role models, to take what you think are good qualities from them.
I saw him in a Mr. McZickle suit, and then he had a Doomsday suit, which really was better than even a lot of the adult Doomsday suits that I've seen. And this year he showed up as Bizarro.
Me does not come from Bizarro World. This is not the code on Bizarro World. He does not have heat breath and cold vision.
You don't have heat breath, huh?
No.
What toothpaste do you use?
Me use Colgate.
Contestant number 3, can you show us your Captain America pose? Let me see it.
All right, that's good. What's your super power?
Show us your muscle.
It was tough. It was very tough. Everybody looked great.
The most able to charm her way out of trouble goes to number 28, Danielle Carnes. Come on down!
I would just like to announce that you are wearing high heels. Yeah, it is.
Superman's favorite sidekick award goes to number 2, Austin Miller. Yay!
Bizarro.
Can I get a picture with you? Sure can. Come here, buddy. All right. Look at it.
The day that I got the job playing Superman here for the first year was actually the day that I was supposed to get married.
I got talking to him and found that out, and I said, just wait till next year to get married. We'll do the wedding here.
I was a little hesitant about it, but it ended up really being a nice event, and it was in Washington Park where the first Superman celebration took place.
Let's take a look at our celebrities that we've got here. First off, well, you are celebrities. I'm a geek. I'm sorry, man. So we've got John Bogdanoff here. He's an artist. Has worked on Superman, the Man of Steel. Also was one of the co-creators of the Superman spin-off Steel. And right next to him, Len Wein, who's a writer, also an editor on everything. On the end here, we've got Jake Black, who's a writer. He's done a lot of writing in comic books, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Ninja Turtle, that movie was stunning in computer animation. The rain scene on the rooftop where, you know, you're seeing all of the drops of rain on Leonardo's shell is one of the achievements, the great achievements in computer animation thus far.
Len, you've worked as a writer. You've also worked as an editor on comic books, and of course, as we brought up, Crisis on Infinite Earths, which is pretty much the miniseries that all miniseries is judged by. How has comics changed over the last 20 years since Crisis came out?
The audience has changed. We don't get that many new readers anymore. Most comic books today are sold in comic book shops. So you've got a different marketplace and a different agenda.
How do you guys feel about films like Sin City or V for Vendetta or 300 in terms of filmmaking of movies that aren't quite regular film but look like comic books?
After seeing 300, pretty much everybody I know in comics started doing sit-ups and going on diets. There was 1,800 abs in that movie. Yes, indeed.
The list of artists and writers and editors who have attended as guests have included Mike Carlin, Jeff Loeb, Mark Wade, Marv Wolfman, Alex Ross, and Steve Rude.
I love the design of the panel. Just this big open negative space and how balanced the symmetry.
Yeah, it is.
I felt the punch.
Yeah.
I felt it.
One thing I like is the base of support is perfect. Like for instance here, you're going from back leg to front leg, you're shifting your weight, you're putting power into it. It's just so accurate.
At the time, you know, there were no DVDs or VCR players. You couldn't record anything. So what I had to do is I had to draw Superman. I had to curb that baby angst. I needed to draw my favorite superhero just so I could see him. So Superman actually was the inspiration for me to be an artist.
Artist Steve Stanley, the Superman Celebration guest artist in 2003, has continued to work with the city as an artist and a webmaster for 5 Superman celebrations.
He wanted to use me as a sketch model for his Superman pitch to DC Comics. And I looked at his work and it was just fantastic.
Official Scott Cranford Superman. We nickname him Superman.
Superman art isn't just the comic books. Superman art could be anything. Steve Stanley wanted to make a Superman suit that would stand up against the Superman Returns suit, but with a smaller budget. He also made the black Kryptonian life suit.
In 2005, Stanley began an art show in the city's community center. It has grown every year.
And our local comic shop's been really nice about, you know, they got like leftover stuff for free comic day. They'll let me take it with me and hand out to the kids.
Anytime you can get a person to pick up a comic book medium, any type of comic book medium is good for everybody across the board.
But he knows how to forge my signature.
He literally looks and acts as if he stepped out of the pages of a comic book.
But Scott is Superman. You know, I mean, he means what he says, and you can tell that there's a sincerity in what he does.
I've never seen him walk away from a crowd of children and leave them without spending the amount of time that it takes. To me, that's an action hero.
We're going to K-Rag. We're late.
We're gonna make it.
Look at all this traffic. Always at the last minute in a rush. During traffic.
Thanks for the commentary.
Anytime.
Take the lens cap off, obviously. And you're good to go.
Hey.
Good morning, Kevin and me.
Now, we've been to HeroicWorld.com. It is perhaps the best site ever. You have come up with a lot of people with superpowers, superheroes.
Sharkman is the most intelligent man in the universe, right? He's the former librarian.
Absolutely.
And he's fighting the system because they won't implement his new card system.
His new educational system, Justin Wise. There's actually some live action characters on there. The Flying Coen Brothers are live action characters.
Superman up on.
Is that okay if it goes off the green screen? Yeah, this will be the catch. So you're basically falling. Boom! All right, Steve, flex that bicep.
Which one is me?
Well, Steve, you're kind of like, whoa, what's going on here? You know, just like, where are we going? But if you could, the Coen Brothers look a little more heroic. Good. Right? Perfect. Yeah. Your mouth is any way you want it.
Superman.
Bring this hand a little this way. Yeah, okay. Yeah, this is cool.
Aren't you going to be in a movie? Did I see on your website that you've got some work in an upcoming movie?
Oh, I am doing a fan film playing Superman.
These fan films that people do, they're fairly high budget, sort of independent things where people will go off and guerrilla style filmmaking and just make these movies.
Where do they show them? Where do you see them?
Mostly the comic book conventions and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I know.
Some of these are out of order, way uncropped, but they're kind of in the general sequence of what they should be.
Yeah.
Here's all of them.
This is cool.
Yeah. And the red streak will get everyone excited, because everyone's going to know who that is.
You're really going to stretch out this fight scene.
Yeah, or Batman's kind of pushing Supes around, but then Supes is like, alright, whack!
Stay out of my way, Clark. Joker must die.
And how do they get away with them? I would think that DC Comics would step in and say, no, you can't make a movie about Superman meeting Batman or whatever.
Well, as long as you're not making money off of the project.
Oh, I see.
That's what it is.
And you are, mentioning that, these are DC's characters. I mean, you could use it as promotion for yourself if you wanted, you're an upcoming director or something. You can give an example of your work.
Action.
Pull. 2, 3.
He did such a good job that he had other opportunities to play Superman in other places.
We'll be going to West Chicago to be doing a speech on crime prevention later this year.
Really? What qualifies you to do a speech on crime prevention?
People really get inspired by that speech every year, so they keep calling me back to do it.
If we all work together, we can rid this world of crime.
I wrote a book called the Superman Book of Morals, which I pitched to DC. And they told me that they were working on a similar project and that they wouldn't be able to put it out at the moment. I've put the Book of Morals up online, and the folks from the Army took an interest in it, and they wanted me to read it to the children out there. I went overseas and visited with children whose parents were fighting in Iraq and Afghanistan, and they were stuck on these bases.
What is often overlooked is the bravery of the children of the troops. The things that I would always try to tell children: stand up straight, shoulders back, always be positive no matter what the situation, find the good in it and concentrate on solutions. Never raise your voice. Calm sets a tone and it relaxes people. Treat everyone as equals and expect the same. Believe in the potential of your fellow person and genuinely wish great things for them. The most important message I believe that Superman delivers is operate with love.
Superman's always been my favorite superhero.
He fights for truth and justice to the American way.
If I could have one of Superman's powers, it would no doubt be to fly.
It'd have to be the flying.
It would have to be the power of flight. I mean, that is just incredible to even consider.
It would help me continue my fight for justice if I was invulnerable.
I love heat vision. It's the best.
The X-ray vision might be the best thing to have.
X-ray vision.
Superman's story has been told and retold many times, but one thing always holds true: Superman's never-ending power to inspire.
I'm biggest on Christopher-Reeves. Before I did all this, I was a paramedic. I was in a bad accident on a call. I was hospitalized for years in physical therapy. I had my autographed picture of him there. Probably got me through it, He did it and I could do it.
My name is Stephen Kirk. I'm an actor, writer, director. We have soon-to-be Hollywood hyphenate. My real first conscious memory is watching the animated Superman flying in from out of frame and crashing through that crappy brick wall. One of the great things about Superman, and the reason that he's been around for such a long time, is because he can be anything for anybody. You can take whatever you want from Superman. You want him to be a two-dimensional comic book hero, and you just like the exploits and the adventures, fine. You got that. You grew up watching him as a kid on TV, and he's like a surrogate father figure or something like that. There's a great role model right there. If you're a fan of truth, justice, and the American way, and you want to have somebody that represents that's a representation of the things that you really believe in, you got that too.
What do you like about the Superman celebration?
Well, this is my first time.
Kids like to have their picture made in front of the big Superman statue. It's just a good
hometown feel. Where did you get this? What's the story behind it?
At an auction.
Well, what's it worth?
Probably $75 to $100 in that condition.
Well, my name is Trish Childers, and I am the Director of Tourism for the City of Metropolis. I've never seen a Superman movie, and I've never watched Smallville.
Oh, wow.
So yeah.
You don't really get a downtime then, do you?
No, and I've got 3 other events going this year, here in the next 3 weeks.
The whole idea about the Superman celebration, which everybody keeps forgetting, is tourism dollars.
There's potential for things to just explode, but it really is up to the locals if they want that. You know, you can't force a town to do something they don't want to do, or something that they're not ready for. When they're ready for it to happen, it can happen.
Why would you want to take your small town community and make it into one of these big corporate meccas?
You don't want to turn it into Disneyland without the gates. You want it to still have that Midwestern charm.
Is bigger better? You know, I don't know that it is. I don't know if you would lose the charm and the small town appeal.
I think this should be the San Diego of the Midwest. I mean, it needs to be big. I am not a part of the chamber. I'm an independent company.
Anytime something happens with Superman, and when a new movie comes out, Christopher-Reeves accident, you know, the death, anything like that happens, you know, attention comes back to Metropolis. All of that media, the internet's been great for us.
If you get way too Hollywood with it, it's going to take away from what the character and what the celebration is all about.
There are a lot of characters that are archetypes of the characters within the Superman universe. I see a lot of people that are Lois-Lane types and Clark Kent types, and there are Jimmy-Olsen types, and there are even a few Lex-Luthor types.
Next year, I plan on holding the comic book / collector show at Harrah's because I have 10,000 square feet to work with versus 4,000 square feet. I get grants from the city to put on conventions for them. When you're organizing the comic book show, it's just not only time, effort, it's money, it's you know, making sure you promote the correct way, getting the word out there. It's great to be in that kind of super collector world. Oh, if you got money, it's gone. I love the celebration.
My favorite part about the Superman celebration would probably have to be the auction. I love seeing all the memorabilia.
Jim Hambrick's Super Auction has become one of the celebration's most anticipated events. Here, fans have an opportunity to acquire extremely rare Superman memorabilia.
1978 Superman bed sheet. That's what you mind, what you want to get. We'll start that out at $20. Let's go. We get $5. There,
1973 7-Eleven cups. Supergirl, Clark Kent. Only $10.
10 bucks?
Yeah.
I really enjoy the costume contest. It's really neat to see how creative people can be.
Welcome to the costume contest. Are you excited to be here? Yeah! Great! We are finally going to get started. We have 5 different categories this time. We'll have a Superman Clark Kent category, and then we'll do a Supergirl Lois-Lane category, and then other heroes, and another category for villains, and another category for creatures. We'll start with number 42. Come on up. My name is Ryan Jor-el. I'm from Blue Mountain, Illinois. I thought I was one of the biggest Superman freaks there ever was until I came here. Can you give us the final pose?
Final pose. I can do that.
I am the man of bent steel with the most bling bling.
These are actually prescription. I kind of try to do this all the time.
How you doing? My name is Nick. I'm from Chicago, and obviously I'm a George-Reeves fan.
I am General-Zod, your ruler, and I am scheduled to attend a ribbon cutting at what you Earthlings call a shopping mall in Paducah. But mark my words, Superman. I will return, and you will kneel before Zod.
How's everyone doing today? I'm Superboy. Many of you might know me as a Metropolis kid, but anything you want to call me will make me smile.
I'm in town this weekend to try and find my daddy. I'm the best at what I do, and what I do isn't nice.
I'm Genetrix, the genetically flawed genie. My son actually has a fatal genetic disease known as Duchenne muscular dystrophy, and I wanted to spread awareness of that disease. Thank you, everyone.
The winner of the Superman Clark Kent category, number 9, Danny Kelly. Come on up. In our Supergirl Lois-Lane category, the winner was number 33, Vivian Ellis. Come on up. And in our feature category, number 36, David Gibb.
If I'm here much longer, I may have to change my costume to something like perhaps yellow spandex.
Chris, number 3, dressed as Flash, in 3rd place. That's fair for him. In 2nd place, for another $500, number 36, Wolverine, David Gibb. Are you ready for our grand prize? This is really a lot of money, $1,000. Number 38, Jeff Holland as Mr.Freeze.
Thank you for letting me be here. Rock on, Metropolis!
Noelle Neal was named the First Lady of Metropolis in 2003 and has attended the Superman celebration ever since.
Sense of seriousness about the characters that maybe we don't share. It seems to me. So I was wondering if perhaps you were kind of being you were goofing on this superhero concept a little bit.
No, I take it very seriously. You know, I believe that these characters are key for the future of children in the next couple generations.
All right.
There's a whole section that I love on heroic hints. I mean, you really do tell ordinary mortals how to live like a superhero, which I think is very impressive.
Yeah.
I think you're doing good work.
Thank you for mentioning that. You know, I want to say that most people on the site visit that Heroic Hints page. It's really exciting to see that people want to do good.
I feel like the longer I hold on to this title, the more good I can do.
It's Radio Disney, live from Disneyland. Webb Fingers here with a very special in-studio guest today. Please welcome Scott Cranford, who is the official Superman of Metropolis, Illinois. Would Superman ever tell a lie?
Never. Because if you tell a lie, you know, it destroys your confidence. So you always have to tell the truth. It is extremely important for your character. If you want to build a strong character, you've got to always tell the truth.
I was very happy when they found Scott, because before they found him, the first few years I came, they had a different Superman every year.
We've had a lot of previous Supermans, and you know they've been here 1 year at a time.
The best idea is have Mr. Superman of Metropolis from a year to a year.
Sometimes change is good.
Change is inevitable and is good.
Sometimes it's time to see a new face.
Why do you think we have different celebrities every year? It's to build the excitement. If you have a different Superman every year, boom, it'll build momentum with the people coming, because who's going to be the new Superman? Give them a cash prize, a plaque, and hey, you're Superman for us. And then each year, instead of handing off a baton, you hand off a piece of kryptonite to them.
I would like to thank DC Comics, the great and wonderful people in the city of Metropolis who've been so kind to myself and to my family, and to all the Superman fans who have supported me over the years.
If it's working, keep it.
Yeah. I think they should keep them, Everybody knows him as Superman.
Nice to everybody.
Superman is the greatest character. I will always love Superman and what he stands for.
In appreciation, we thought, you know what? I think we need to have a little cake and fun. Call us for a great job for 7 years.
So it's just been really terrific. So anyway, so give him a big hand.
I think Scott Cranford is probably the best Superman that Metropolis ever had.
He will be sadly missed by the people that have grown to know him.
He's been an inspiration to the people. He's been an inspiration to the kids.
We may have hired this person to do a job for us, but he's done way more than a job for us. And if you hold your applause, the George Award is going to go to Scott Cranford. And the Noel Award is going to go to Marcella Cranford because she's the one that had to put up with it.
I've had so many great friends, and I appreciate that, and I will always remember that.
Cranford will continue his crusade in the superhero field. His superhero entertainment site, HeroicWorld.com, receives millions of hits, and Cranford is launching several comic books based on heroes of his own creation.
The memories that I take with me of Metropolis are golden. Unfathomable for a Superman fan. Sometimes in order to get great things, you have to give up great things. Long before I got the job playing Superman, I made a promise to inspire people through superheroes to do the right thing, to do good, and I'm going to continue to do that.
If you can lead your life the way Superman has led his life, you know, morally good almost to a fault, you can't really get any better than that.
I think there's an inherent goodness in the character that I think a lot of it speaks to what we would like to be. Superman!
I just think he, try to be a good person is what it boils down to.
He just represents everything good, and no matter what's going on in our country and across the world, everybody's always looking for something good.
It's his unselfishness, I think, that is key to his strength over and above his super abilities.
This celebration is not for me. This celebration is for what I stand for, and that's truth, justice, in the American way.